What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. I'm super excited. We have a very special guest. He is a retired police officer and a public speaker. Please welcome Runnel Riley to the show. Runnel, did I pronounce that name correctly?
It's just like tunnel with an R.
So, Runnel.
There you go. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I should have asked you
old Irish name.
Oh, there you go. So happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you very much.
I didn't celebrate. I had family commitments yesterday, so I'm not Irish. So
everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. I'm Irish 365 days a year.
That's true. So I think I shared it with you in an email. My fiance is a Chicago police officer, so he definitely got to see a lot of the wannabe Irish yesterday, and in the last week.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
So, Runnel, we actually talked a little bit about your background. Can you share a little bit of your history with the audience before we start getting into our deep conversation?
Of course. I'm a simple person. I was born in a small town called Mountain Air, New Mexico. Back then it had a hospital. I grew up on a cattle ranch about 8 miles north of there. We farmed some too. After I got out of high school, I did a couple years at the community college in law enforcement, joined the sheriff's department, and retired from there. The whole time after high school, I public spoke a lot, mostly around New Mexico, Arizona, West Texas, Oklahoma. And since then, I still have continued doing weddings, funerals, talks at churches, things like that. But that's who I am.
I love that. So I kind of asked you a little bit about what you like to speak about. And so this is something you've been speaking for quite a long time as a public speaker. Can you share with us what it is that you share with those audiences?
Absolutely. I talk about the illusion of time. When I was a younger man, we all used day runners, and you would write things down, and that's a wonderful plan. All the statistics show people who organize their lives do better, so we'd use that. Nowadays, I use my smartphone.
Yeah.
It's one of the few features that I really do use on it, but I do use that. We all think that, well, next week I'm going to go to the doctor's office, or I'm going to go, it's my dental appointment, and we all plan for that. And we assume we're going to have that time, which is not true. We have the time that's in front of us, and that's it.
Right.
And I'll give you an example. I won't say their names, but last May, my cousin, we were very close. We were the same age for 2 days. I'd have my birthday, and I was the same age as him for 2 days till he had his birthday. But anyways, his younger sister called and told him, says, come have dinner with me and my husband, which was common because they live really close together. And he said, yeah, I'll do that. No problem. Well, then he calls her about 4:00 that afternoon. And he said, I don't think I'm going to be able to come to supper because, boy, I just feel terrible. I got this terrible pain right between my shoulder blades. I don't know what I've done. So, of course, she rushed right over there. And as soon as she saw him, she knew what the problem was. And so she gave him an aspirin and called 911, which where they live out in the country, it's about a 20, 25-minute wait for 911 to get there.
Wow.
And so he told her, he says, look, if you're going to send me on the ambulance, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. And Tina told him, no, Roy, I don't want you doing that. You just sit still.
Yeah.
Till they get here. No, it'll be no problem. So he got up out of the chair and walked about 2 steps and hit the floor dead.
Oh my goodness. What did he die from?
A heart attack.
A heart attack. So yep. Those are telltale signs, just so the audience knows. If you get
the sweating and the pain between the shoulder blades, and Yeah, those are all signs of heart problem.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. So if you and I, say, for instance, would have went by there at noon and had a cup of coffee and said, "Well, Roy, we wanted to come see you because at 5:30 today you're going to be dead."
Yeah,
Well, he'd have thought we were the dumbest people that ever lived. You know, what on earth's wrong with you?
right.
Well, that's because everybody has the perception that, yeah, we're going to be here tonight and tomorrow and the next day. And when truth is, well, I believe you said that your significant other's a policeman in Chicago,
Yes.
and that's one thing law enforcement teaches you: is life is snuffed out in an instant.
Yeah.
You know, and the decisions we make have such a long-lasting effect.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, so we have to be aware that as we plan and as we do things, we have to be aware that, hey, something could change. A phone call, and it don't necessarily have to be a tragedy. Maybe it's something joyous, like birth of a child or something like that. But anyway, it's going to change everything that you have planned out to do. So you don't really have that time. It's not really there. It's an illusion in our brain that it's there, but it's not, because in an instant everything can change.
Well, I think we've been programmed to think that if we plan our lives out, we can just, just kind of like mosey through life and, meet all our commitments. On my Athena wants to say hi. Um, but that's not really the case. I believe that time is a commodity that we all only have so much of. And, you have to live every day to its fullest, because you never know when it's your time. And we don't make that decision. That's like the almighty, whatever you believe in, like that. Unfortunately, it's not like it's not dependent upon us. If we're lucky, we get to live a long healthy life, but some of us do not. Some of us are not that lucky. I mean, prior to my soon to be husband now, I was married before, and he passed away 6 years ago. He ultimately had major health problems, and watching his steady decline in health made me really have a different outlook on life. Like, you really have to live every day to its fullest. You have to just take risks and just really enjoy the time that you have here on earth, and appreciate your loved ones that are around you.
You are absolutely 100% right. I come from a big Irish family on both sides of the house. And when you're little, it's wonderful. You
Yes.
have all these cousins to play with and all these uncles and aunts that love you, and you get to see them, on Thanksgiving, and usually once in the spring we'd all get together, and you just thought the world of them. And it never dawns on you that these people are so much older than you are. You're going to be burying a lot of people in your lifetime.
Yeah, that's a really depressing thought.
Yeah.
I have a
Well,
big family too, like not on both sides, mainly on my mom's side. She's one of six, and then I'm one of five, so I'm the oldest of five. So yeah, that's a very sad thought.
but unfortunately, it's true.
Yes, that's reality. That is
That's
reality.
reality. Yeah. When I was in college, I took a number of medical classes. My favorite was medical ethics. The professor was a great guy. He was a retired physician out of Roswell, New Mexico. And I never will forget the first day of class, he come in. Well, by then we didn't have blackboards. Everybody has those dry erase. But anyway, he come in and wrote on the board, rule number one, in medicine, there's two rules. Rule number one, people die.
Yeah,
Rule number two, medical professionals can't change rule number one.
that's true. Yeah, that's a powerful statement. Support for Label Free Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Now, ladies, you can use this too. We're all inclusive here. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. And now we're going to have the ladies too, because come on, ladies, let's be real. We have an exclusive offer for my listeners, 20% off plus free shipping with the code labelfree20 at manscaped.com. So thank you, Manscaped, for your support. And everybody is welcome to purchase with my code. So what was your awakening or your aha moment? Was it when your family member passed away that said you needed to start talking about this illusion of time
When we lost my daddy. Yeah.
when you lost your dad? Okay.
Well, my dad was, we have a genetic disease that runs in our family. It's called ankylosing spondylitis, and it just chews up your backbone. If you see a picture of my backbone up to about my hip, the only way I can describe it is it looks like Swiss cheese with spurs on it.
Oh,
And my poor old daddy, he was so bent and stooped that me and my brother, any hard work that we could take off my dad, we did,
yeah,
because it was hard for him.
yeah,
But at the same time, uh, my dad, him and my mom were the cornerstone that held us all together,
sure.
you know. And I was sitting there by his bed, and because he insisted on dying at home, and so I was sitting there on the bed next to him, and just kind of had my hand on his leg and watching him breathe. And he breathed, took a breath, and that was it.
Oh my
His
goodness.
chest never raised again. 1 second he was alive. The next second he had passed away. I realized then how fleeting life can be, so quick.
Yeah. How
Just
old was your father when he passed?
he was barely 69.
Oh wow, so very young. Young
Yeah,
compared to I feel like
but,
these days where people are living longer. I mean, yeah, that's wow.
yeah. He had heart problems and stuff. That there are a lot of complications too. But uh, it's kind of a shocking thing when you're sitting next to someone and they're breathing 1 second and alive, and then they just don't take another breath.
Yeah, that is hard. And so tell us about your journey being a public speaker, talking about this, how people need to embrace the time that they have.
Well, as I speak, I try to remind people, look, being aware can not only help you on the inside to where you realize, hey, you know what, that time with my kids really is important. The time I get to spend with my wife, that it really is. That's important time, because you never know. A car wreck, who knows? We don't know. So that time is valuable, and you need to recognize that it's valuable. And from an outside perspective, and I've seen this happen many times, and you probably have too. They'll announce at work, they'll announce a assistant supervisor's position, and somebody will go and pick up the application from HR. And in the HR person's mind, they're like, "Oh man, I'm so glad he's applying. He will do great." Of course, they
Yeah,
can't say nothing out. They can't verbalize it because that's against the law.
yeah,
So, they're driving home and they start thinking, "Well, do I really know that job good enough? It, I better ask my wife." So they ask. So he goes home, talks to his wife or his significant other, whatever the case may be, and they say, "Well, yeah, you make great. Fill it out." Well, let, I'm going to let you fill it out because you have such neater handwriting.
yeah,
Okay. And then I'll sign it tomorrow night and get it back to HR. Okay. Well, 2 or 3 days pass before he remembers to take it. And he takes this back to HR, and they have to tell him, "I'm sorry, thanks for the application, but we already filled the position. So you waited 3 or 4 days, and now you haven't been able to move up in your career
yeah,
because you procrastinated." When you go to HR, you have this moment right in front of you.
yep,
Fill it out and hand it right back to them.
yeah.
You know what? If you don't, you're always going to pay the price.
That's all. It's also about, just being self-confident, just fill it out the best that you can and be confident that you deserve that role and don't waste time all in your feelings.
Absolutely. I took the lieutenant's test 3 times. Every time somebody more qualified than I got the job. But I didn't quit. I don't know. Maybe I'm not smart enough to quit. I don't know. That's why I used to tell my ex-wife, well, why do you love this job? Because I don't have enough sense to run away from the gunfire. You know, what else can I tell you?
Yeah.
And you just keep at it. The third time I got promoted.
Yay,
But
congratulations.
yeah,
That had to feel good.
thank you. But you know, if you don't stay focused on the fact that I may not have another time,
Yeah.
then you're always going to be at the bottom of the ladder. Who wants to stay there? Nobody wants to stay there.
No, nobody does. Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
you're
no,
exactly right. How confident are you in yourself? Well, come on. You're as good
sometimes
as the
you,
next guy.
sometimes you got to fake it till you make it.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and I have never seen waiting till later profit anyone.
No, no. And yeah, that's, I would agree with that. You should always, like I tell my mother, like when she wants to make a decision on something, I tell her, pull the trigger. Like just pull the trigger already and just like do it, make it happen. So I totally agree with that.
Yep.
So you are open to speaking and engagements and being and just spreading your good word around embracing, time for people. Right?
Absolutely.
Where can
Absolutely.
where can people find you, connect with you, reach out to you?
Uh, well, you can find me at my email. It's just runnelriley, all one word, at gmail.com.
Perfect.
Yep. You can text me, 505-440-0229. You can be old fashioned like me and call me on the same number. Nobody has a phone conversation anymore.
No, not really. I mean, well, I
My,
talk to
my,
my
all my
girlfriend.
kids, that's the only way they communicate with me almost is text. On WhatsApp, again, 505-440-0229. Runnel Riley on Facebook.
Okay.
So, you know, uh, even at my age, we all get into the digital age if we want to survive.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was smart on your part. You guys, so I'm going to put all that information in the show notes. So if you're interested in connecting with Runnel and learning a little bit more, perhaps having him come speak with you or want to have him as a guest, please don't hesitate to reach out. His email, his phone number, and his Facebook link will be there in the show notes. So Runnel, we're getting a little bit close on time. It's almost time to start wrapping things up. I have a question for you. What do you think about today's world and what the current law enforcement has to deal with?
People are people, unfortunately, you know, and I hate to say it, but the most dangerous animal on the planet is us.
I would agree.
And law enforcement today, with methamphetamine, with cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, that's the new one, you
Yeah,
know.
that's a bad one.
And those when I was in law enforcement, we had cocaine was kind of the drug of choice, and you had a little crack cocaine as well.
Yeah.
But nothing like's on the streets today. And I feel so sorry for these guys because they take a beating in social media. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Yeah, law enforcement guys are just like anybody else. Once in a while, there's a bad apple in the barrel. 99% of us are good guys.
Yeah. Well,
You
I'd
know,
agree. I would agree.
you know, we want to help people. That's why we got into law enforcement.
Yeah.
Is because somewhere in our genetic makeup we decided, hey, I want to be the person. Because if you're getting in law enforcement to get rich, forget it. It ain't happening. You're not going to get rich in law enforcement.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as an overpaid cop, you know. And these poor guys today, oh my goodness, the way they rake them over the coals, and I'm just like, you weren't there. You don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
We have to make decisions in split seconds, in seconds.
Yeah.
And trust me, there's been a couple of times, if it wasn't for my poor old partner, Art Stoddard, God love him, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. Because you
That's pretty
can't see
deep.
everything all the time. You just can't.
Yeah, that's pretty deep right there. That was, thank you for sharing that. So before we say goodbye, Runnel, I always like to ask my guests for any last words of wisdom or advice. So what would you like to leave with the audience before we say goodbye?
Well, I would leave with you to take a reassessment of your life, look at what's really important to you, and then start focusing on those things, because, partner, you may not have tomorrow.
Amen to that. I totally agree. Well, thank you, Runnel, for being a guest today and
Oh, no,
sharing your
thank you.
story. I
Thank
really,
you.
if you have a book coming out or a new project, please let us know. We'd love to have you back so we can update the audience. You guys, if you connected with Runnel in any way and you are interested in learning more, don't hesitate to reach out to him. He is a very charming man, as you can tell. So I'm sure he would appreciate the connection. This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcasts. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to comment, rate, review, subscribe, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.